Okay, so what we're working on today is section 3.5, graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form, part 1. This section actually has a lot of information, so I find it easier if we break it down into two different parts. Today our focus is on slope. And so there's three different things you need to know about slope. Slope is rise over run. It's also the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And when you're working with word problems, it's the rate of change. And for word problems, what will usually happen is it's how much change happens over time. That's majority of what the word problems are going to be. All right, slope is a letter that represents it in the letters M. Not quite sure why it's M, but there is a mathematical reason, and slope is M. All right, so now types of slope. So what I have is we have somebody called Slope Guy that will help you understand slope. So the first type of slope you have is positive. And if you have a positive slope, the slope goes up. The second type of slope you have is negative. And if you have a negative slope, the slope goes down. The next type of slope you have is a zero slope. And that's a horizontal line, and that's when the zero is on top of a fraction. And the last type of slope you have is a vertical line, which is undefined. And so that is Slope Guy. So if it goes up, it's positive. If it goes down, it's negative. If zeros are on top of the fraction, it's horizontal, which is a zero slope. And if it's a vertical slope, that is undefined. Okay, so that is Slope Guy. Remember, when you read a slope, you read it like a textbook, or like you go left to right. All right, so now let's actually do some problems. Let's start off by our slope formula, which I'm going to write down here again so we don't have to keep scrolling up. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, when we do this, the first thing I do is I label my points. Point A, the first one is an x, and it's the first x I see, so I call it x1. And this is y1. And then I have x2 and y2. So that's that's one of the important things. A lot of people will say x1, x2, but remember it's always x then y. All right, so now I'm going to plug it in my formula. y2 is negative 1 minus, it's always a minus, y1, which is negative 4. x2 is 5 minus x1 is 2. So two negatives here become positive. So I get 3 over 3, which is a positive 1. It's a positive, so it's a rising slope. And so those are my answers for that one. All right, the next one, change colors. x1, y1 again. x2, y2. So I plug it into my formula. y2 is 2 minus y1 is 3. x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is negative 4. So two negatives down there become positive. So I get negative 1 over 0. You cannot divide by 0. Dividing by 0 doesn't work. So this is undefined slope, which is a vertical line. Okay. All right, the next type we're going to have is when we're going to find the slope by counting rise over run. So when I count rise over run, I always start on the left. If I start on the left, then I'm not going to get double negatives. And we've started off pretty easy because you actually have graphs. Okay, so I'm going to do number 1 and 2, and then I'm going to let you try the other ones. So I'm going to start at this point on the left right here, and my goal is to get down here. And so rise over run means I go up and down first. So to get from this first point, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went down 5, and then I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope for this is negative 5 over 4. I cannot reduce it, so I keep it like that. Don't make slope a mixed number. Improper numbers are better for slope. All right, so now over here again, I start on my left, and I go to the right. I do not have to go up or down any. All I have to do is I have to go over 1, 2, 3. So since I did not go up or down any, it's 0 over 3, and 0 over 3 is 0. And you maybe would have recognized that, saying, oh, that's a horizontal slope. It's just 0. All right, I would like you to try 3 through 6, and when you think you have it, go ahead and press play and check how you did. Okay, so for number 3, you should have went down 1, 2, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can't reduce that, so that's my answer. I do want to show you what happens if you don't start at that point, so let me erase this stuff. If you decide to start on the right point, that's okay, it still works, but sometimes you're going to get double negatives. So if I start here, I go up 1, 2, and then I go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you notice, it's still a 2 over 7, and there's still one negative. So you're going to get the same answer, okay? The only issue is if it was a negative 2 over a negative 7, I don't want to do that. You would keep that as a positive 7, okay? But that's not the case for this one. It is just a negative 7. So you can leave it like this also. All right, so let's look at 4. So 4, I should have started here, and I have to go up. And I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you go over to the right, 2. So 5 over 2. This is an example where if I went down, I would have gotten a negative 5. And then I would have went to the left, which is a negative 2. And a negative 5 over a negative 2 would have still become positive 5 over 2. All right, let's look at this next one. Start on the left. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to go to the right 2. I can reduce this, so I want to reduce this, and negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. All right, number 6, there's no point on the left, so I'm just going to go up, and when I go up, I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 over 0, and remember you can't divide by 0, so this is an undefined slope. And you might have just saw that and said, oh, vertical line, I can't walk on that, so that's undefined. Okay, all right, so now let's go to the last type of problem where we're going to graph. Now, in order to graph, you always have to start with the point. So I have to start here. So I'm going to graph the point 2, negative 3, right here. And then my slope is rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Now what I'd like us to do is I'd also like us to go the backwards way. So now down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. I would like you to continue your slope till it leaves the graph. It's good practice, and practice never hurt anybody. All right, I'd like you to try number 8. You might notice that 8 is not a fraction, so what I do is I put it over 1 so that it turns it into a fraction. So go ahead and try and graph number 8 and see what you get. Okay, so you should have started with the ordered pair, negative 1, 4. And then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. I kind of run off the board, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go the other way, 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. There's going to be times that your graph does not fit going one way, and so you have to go the opposite way so that it'll fit on the graph. All right, so the things to remember is slope is rise over run. You have your formula. It's the rate of change, which is change over time, and then the letter that represents slope is m.